Hello, we are Izzy and Amanda. And in this video, of course, we will provide and explain the things that are useful for all of you or for that. Don't skip this video and watch it until it's finished.
So, hi everyone, I'm Amanda.
I am Izchy.
So, we'll provide or explain the materials that we have arranged in such a way about modern English to present.
And we have divided the material into two parts, namely early modern English and late modern English. As we can see in that PPT that we have shared. And later there will be an explanation of the history and its application from modern English to the present English that we know, English that we use in today.
So, I'll explain late modern English on history and its application. The history of this period, Britain and all other parts of Europe experienced what is known as the Renaissance or Age of Enlightenment. England during King Henry VIII broke away from the Roman Catholic Church and established his own church called the Anglican Church, where King Henry VIII was supreme ruler. England gained victory during the reign of Queen Elizabeth I, 1558 until 1601, where England won the Great War over Spain under Charles V in 1588 and began their ocean expansion like other European countries. Things that happened in early British day until early 17th century. In 1607, the British began their colonization of the Americas in Jamestown, Virginia to be exact. In 1619, the British began transatlantic slave trade. In 1642, England had a major civil war between Cameron Head and the Cavalier. In 1660, the government was held by Oliver Cromwell and his son prior to the restoration of the throne of Charles II. In 1688, England experienced what is called a glorious revolution. In 1702, newspaper began circulating throughout the UK and its content strongly influenced public opinion on particular issue. In 1788, England began to settle in Australia.
Then, how is the development and application of early modern English?
The development of modern English and its application in the early days of modern English has resulted in many new words in English vocabulary. As literacy increased and human mobility at that time increased, making many new discoveries of things that, of course, required new terms and words that they gained from interacting with other language users in the world and making many borrowed words. The custom of Celtic and Scandinavian language remains dominant in this era, with new variations of modern Italian and German, and to a lesser degree are influenced by Oriental, Australia, African, Eastern Europe, Asia Minor, and American languages. At the time, the spread of English to British colonies was booming, especially in the great colonies of America, Canada, and Australia. American colonies also began developing their own English versions. And during this period, much innovation arose in the spelling and conversation of English enunciation. In addition, there was a large focus shift where at the beginning of the modern English era, all the vowels went through the shift process. During this period, several notable writers came from numerous periods, one of which was 16th century William Shakespeare. Then there was 17th century Joseph Addison and William Wordsworth of the 18th century. Writing style of such things as short stories, poetry, plays, and novel proliferated in this era. In addition, the world's first English dictionaries entitled Cowdery's Table being replaced by Robert Cowdery were published in 64 and had some 3,000 words along with their explanation and Samuel's English dictionaries.
It is all about the early modern English. Let's move to the late modern English right now.
Okay, if we talk about the history of late modern English, so at this time, English was exported throughout the world through colonization carried out by the British Empire in its colonies such as India, Canada, and then Australia. Then, the independence of the United States from England in 1776 also made the English language more widespread. And then, England at the end of the 19th century also experienced a glorious period known as the Victorian era under the leadership of Queen Victoria, and England experienced the most advanced industrialization era of its time. So that at the beginning of the 20th century, England was recorded as controlling quarter of the world, and one of its influences was the widespread English. Then Raja Kahru revealed that there are three types of English speakers in that modern era. The first is native speakers who live in countries where English is the main language, such as America, England, Canada, and then Australia. And then the second are English speakers who live in countries where English is a second language in addition to the main language of each country, such as, for example, India. And the last are English speakers who live in countries where English is not their primary language or second language, but used for certain times. Then in the second half of the 20th century, England began to lose its colonial territories due to the First World War and the Second World War, and also the United States as one of the largest English speakers, and the former colony of England began to show their superpower, especially during the Cold War with the Soviet Union. World War II also fostered brotherhood between Britain and the United States. Okay, so that's all about the history of late modern English, and the second one we will explain about the development of late modern English and its application.
How is the development and implementation of late modern English?
So, we think that at this time the development of English vocabulary continues today, and the number of English speakers around the world may have reached more than, I think, 1 billion people. And then English also develops in various variants and accents that can be found all over the world, most of which come from countries that were former British colonies such as India, Singapore, and so on. And then English underwent even greater changes after 1800. The early modern period ended as new influences emerged. Although early modern English pronunciation and grammar continued into late modern times, the English vocabulary expanded rapidly, leading to the creation of late modern English. And then during the late modern English period, countless famous writers, novelists, poets, and playwrights were born and worked in this era. Coupled with technological developments such as television, radio, and then the internet also affect how English can continue to spread throughout the world and become an international language. And the main changes in vocabulary during the late modern period were brought about by the Industrial Revolution, scientific progress, and last is colonialism. I think that's all about the development of late modern and its application.
That is an explanation of material about modern English now from us, starting from its history, its development, to its application. We have explained in the video earlier. Thank you for watching this video until the end. See you with Izzy and Amanda in the next learning videos.